Next week, All Elite Wrestling is set to kick off their 5th-year anniversary show, and let me tell you, it's already a damn disaster. They've thrown out some great matches for Grand Slam, but next week, it's a train wreck waiting to happen with lackluster bouts like Britt Baker versus Serena Deeb. This isn't just about a couple of mediocre matches, it's a glaring sign that AEW is drowning in a sea of special shows, trying to pull off last-minute hype to boost those plummeting ratings. They're giving away pay-per-view caliber matches for free, like it's going out of style. Remember when MJF faced Will Ospreay on some random summer special? That should have been saved for All In 2024, the WrestleMania of AEW. Now, let's talk about the match in question for the 5th-year anniversary. Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. Honestly, I don't want to see that at a random Dynamite show. Nah, I want that shit at All In 2025, and I want it packed to the rafters with 50,000 screaming fans. Imagine the atmosphere, electric, chaotic, and ready to explode. You build that tension, you create a storyline, and you'll have fans shelling out big bucks to witness history. Remember the Vince McMahon documentary? It's all about taking a great match and turning it into a legendary spectacle. Think about Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan, or how they crafted the perfect storm for Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania. Hell, even Austin winning the title with Mike Tyson as the special guest referee during the Attitude Era, those were moments that transcended the ring. You can throw Ospreay and Ricochet together anytime, but the best time? That's at a WrestleMania-level event like All In. It's about crafting a story that pulls in the biggest audience, and that's where AEW is missing the mark. AEW Dynamite 5th anniversary thing. At the anniversary show, it's announced that Ricochet versus Will Ospreay is going down at 9 p.m., and the fans are hyped, thinking they're about to witness a 60 to 75-minute classic. Ricochet struts down to the ring, bouncing off the ropes, flipping and cartwheeling, feeding off the crowd's energy. The arena erupts in a chorus of "holy shit" chants. Don Callis is already at the commentary table, soaking in the booze like a villain in a bad movie. Suddenly the lights dim, and the air fills with the green and white fireworks as the arena is rocked by the anthem. Elevated L, elevate me to the sky. Wow, we're so elevated. Elevated L, elevate me to the sky. Wow, we're so elevated. But Will Ospreay doesn't come out. Fans start to murmur, worry creeping in. Ricochet smirks, winks at the camera, playing the part of the cocky playboy. Just then, screams pierce the air. The camera cuts to the big screen, and there's Ospreay, getting brutally attacked by the Don Callis family. Takeshita, Hobbs, and Trent Beretta are pounding him into the ground. Callis barks orders, and Hobbs hoists a bloodied Ospreay to his feet. Then, in a sick twist, Ricochet appears on the screen, brandishing a screwdriver, just like a scene out of Inglourious Bastards. He carves it into Ospreay's face, the imagery graphic and visceral, leaving fans gasping in shock. Ospreay staggers down the ramp, covered in blood, looking for a fight, but he's barely standing. The crimson mask drips as he collapses inside the ring, fading in and out of consciousness. Don Callis hops into the ring, pummeling Ospreay with the belt like an abusive stepfather, relishing every second. With a twisted grin, he hands the microphone to Ricochet. Ricochet grabs the mic, flashing that cocky grin. "I'm pretty, I'm a playboy, and I'm all about the money. But what I can't stand is this bullshit about Will Ospreay and his so-called good morals. Good morals don't make champions, baby. He and Kyle Fletcher should have won those tag titles at Grand Slam last week, but they didn't because they're soft. So just like Scar did to Mufasa, I'm permanently kicking you out of the Don Callis family. I'm the king now, the top lion, the Black Panther of this jungle." The Don Callis family storms the ring again, 4-on-1, mercilessly beating down Ospreay. On Title Tuesday, Okada strides out, demanding a match against Konosuke Takeshita for the Continental title at Wrestle Dream. Tony Khan nods. "You got it, but Takeshita's going to lose and therefore embarrass himself. That's the real punishment for his actions." Then, the next match announced for Wrestle Dream is Ricochet competing for the vacated international title against Hologram. Ospreay, battered and bruised, is forced to vacate the championship due to his injuries. In a pre-recorded segment, we see him in a hospital bed, bandaged and bloodied, talking about his thirst for revenge against Ricochet and the Don Callis family. "I'm not cleared to wrestle, so I have to forfeit my title," he says, determination in his eyes. But this match between Ricochet and Hologram? That's going to be a showcase of heart and potential by Hologram. And Ricochet is nothing but a bunch of height and a fake persona. I believe in Hologram, and I see myself in Hologram, somebody that's on a whole other level. And when I return, I'm coming for the Don Callis family. They will be on a whole other level of pain they haven't even begun to imagine. This builds anticipation for the Wrestle Dream show just 10 days post-anniversary, allowing time to hype the matches. Ospreay needs this time off anyway, because his high-impact style is a double-edged sword, great for the crowd, but it's wearing him thin. At Wrestle Dream, the match between Ricochet and Hologram goes a grueling 30 minutes. Ricochet fights uphill, struggling to secure the win, showcasing his resilience. Finally, he bests Hologram, becoming the new international champion. But in a ruthless turn, he grabs the screwdriver again, sending a chilling message that he's not afraid to get violent. No more games. The lights dimmed, and the crowd buzzed with anticipation as Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita faced off for the Continental Championship. The air crackled with tension, and when the bell rang, it was an all-out brawl. Okada, known for his slick moves and charisma, executed a dropkick that sent Takeshita sprawling to the mat. But Takeshita, fueled by the roaring fans, sprang back like a coiled spring, delivering a brutal German suplex that echoed through the arena. "Get up, you son of a bitch," he growled, launching into a flurry of strikes. Okada countered with a rainmaker, but Takeshita ducked and hit him with a wicked knee strike, nearly taking his head off. The match was a whirlwind of athleticism and raw power, and when the dust settled, Okada stood tall, clutching the title like a lifeline. Dynamite aftermath. Fast forward to the next weekly Dynamite, and Don Callis struts into the ring like a peacock, the spotlight glinting off his smug grin. The ring is decked out in black and red, perfectly fitting Takeshita's vibe, complete with a birthday cake featuring his face staring back at the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen," Callis bellows, "we're celebrating the future Continental Champion, Konosuke Takeshita. He's going to seize that title at World's End, and he'll go through every opponent in the Continental Classic tournament." He pauses, scanning the audience with disdain. "And let me tell you, Will Ospreay, he's nothing but Dave Meltzer's wet dream. Sucks to be you, buddy. And by the way, Takeshita isn't soft, you're soft, you little bitch." On the big screen, Will Ospreay sneers, his eyes blazing. "I'm cleared to fight, and at Full Gear I face Kyle Fletcher. We were brothers, and I'll show you what happens when you stab your brother in the back. Cain and Abel, baby." The crowd erupts, and Ospreay's words hang in the air like a thunderclap. As Full Gear approaches, the stakes get higher. Bryan Danielson versus Ricochet is announced, and the tension is palpable. Danielson, the veteran, has a chip on his shoulder after a cheating loss to Jon Moxley at Wrestle Dream, and he is hell-bent on reclaiming his title. Meanwhile, Ricochet is on a mission to prove he is better than Ospreay, taking out everyone in his path like a seasoned hitman. "Let's kick this shit up a notch," Ricochet growls as he faces Danielson, the arena buzzing with excitement. He hits a picture-perfect shooting star press, and the crowd loses their minds. Meanwhile, Ospreay faces Fletcher in a brutal match that ends in chaos. Fletcher swings a screwdriver with a wild look in his eyes, but he gets disqualified. Ospreay retaliates with a tiger driver that sends Fletcher crashing onto a stretcher, bloodied and battered. "I'll fucking kill your whole family," Ospreay roars, rage radiating off him as he drags Fletcher off the stretcher and hits him with another vicious tiger driver. The audience gasps, the tension thickening like a noose. World's End showdown. At World's End, Ospreay faces off against Powerhouse Hobbs, who towers over him like a mountain of muscle. "I'm big, I'm black, and I'm jacked," Hobbs shouts, shaking the ring. But Ospreay, channeling his inner demon, sneaks in a screwdriver shot when the referee isn't looking, leaving Hobbs crumpled on the mat. In the main event, Takeshita and Okada clash in a match for the ages. The two wrestlers tear into each other with a ferocity that has the crowd on the edge of their seats. But in a stunning twist, Takeshita seizes his moment, delivering a hellacious knee strike and pinning Okada for the win, the Continental Championship finally his. Meanwhile, Ricochet faces a returning Kenny Omega for the International Championship. In a shocking moment, Ricochet shakes Omega's hand, then kicks him right in the nuts. "Gotcha, bitch," he yells as Ospreay rushes to the rescue, setting up a tag team match at the Australia Grand Slam. Grand Slam, Brisbane, Australia. The anticipation built as the Australia Grand Slam approached, promising a showdown that would shake the wrestling world to its core. With the tension between Ospreay and Ricochet, and the rivalry between Takeshita and Omega, the Suncorp Arena in Brisbane is electric, the air thick with the scent of popcorn and anticipation. Fans pack the seats, faces painted, signs waving like flags in a war zone. Tonight is the night everything changes. Match 1, Wheeler Yuta versus Konosuke Takeshita for the Continental Championship. The night kicks off with a bang as Wheeler Yuta struts to the ring, exuding a cocky confidence that only a young star can possess. But he's about to face a storm. Konosuke Takeshita, with his trademark black and red gear, enters like a warrior ready for battle, the Continental Championship glistening on his shoulder. The crowd erupts, chanting Takeshita's name as he steps into the squared circle. Yuta charges in, throwing a flurry of rapid-fire punches, but Takeshita absorbs the blows, smirking as he counters with a vicious forearm that sends Yuta staggering back. "You think you can take this from me?" Takeshita growls, launching into a series of brutal kicks, each landing with a satisfying thud. Yuta fights back with his agility, hitting a picture-perfect dropkick that wows the crowd. The match escalates into a high-stakes battle, both men trading moves like seasoned gunslingers. Takeshita, showing off his strength, hoists Yuta for a powerbomb, but Yuta wriggles free, landing behind him and connecting with a German suplex that rattles the ring. The crowd gasps, but Takeshita quickly recovers, hitting his signature blue thunderbomb. As he pins Yuta, the referee counts 1, 2, 3. Takeshita retains his championship, raising the belt high as the fans roar. Match 2, Pac versus Ricochet for the International Championship. Next up, Pac strides to the ring like a ravenous predator, his eyes locked on Ricochet, who bounces with energy, ready to soar. The International Championship is on the line, and both men are primed to prove they're the best. The bell rings, and they collide in a flurry of athleticism. Ricochet flips, spins, and dodges Pac's strikes with breathtaking agility, landing a stunning Hurricane Rana that sends Pac sprawling. "You can't keep up with me," Ricochet shouts, his confidence soaring as he launches into a shooting star press that has the crowd on their feet. But Pac isn't one to back down. He counters with a brutal superkick, staggering Ricochet. The two exchange blows, each trying to outdo the other in a display of pure wrestling artistry. As the match reaches its climax, Ricochet catches Pac with a slick roll-up and the referee counts 1, 2, 3. Ricochet wins fair and square, the championship belt glinting in the spotlight as he holds it high, soaking in the cheers. Main event, Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. The main event is set to be a barn burner. The atmosphere crackles with tension as Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita enter the ring, ready to face the formidable duo of Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. The stakes are high. Tonight's winners become the #1 contenders for the tag team titles at Revolution Mars. As the bell rings, Ospreay and Takeshita start things off, the tension between them palpable. Ospreay darts around the ring like a whirlwind, hitting Takeshita with a series of quick strikes, but Takeshita absorbs the punishment, countering with a devastating lariat that flips Ospreay inside out. The crowd erupts as Takeshita tags in Fletcher, who brings the heat, delivering a flurry of kicks and a wicked brainbuster that has Ospreay reeling. But the tide turns when Omega tags in, and the arena shakes with the power of his presence. He and Ospreay unleash a brutal combination of moves, working together like a well-oiled machine. Omega hits Fletcher with a snapdragon suplex, and Ospreay follows up with a phenomenal forearm that sends him crashing to the mat. The match reaches its boiling point as all four men brawl, and the referee struggles to maintain order. Ospreay and Takeshita trade blows, each refusing to back down. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as the clock ticks down, and both teams are desperate for the win. In a thrilling climax, Takeshita and Fletcher execute a perfectly timed double-team maneuver, catching Ospreay off guard. Takeshita hits his signature jumping knee strike, sending Ospreay crashing to the mat. The arena explodes with cheers as Takeshita quickly tags in Fletcher, who scales the turnbuckle like a spring-loaded missile. "Time to fly, baby!" Fletcher shouts, launching off the top rope with a breathtaking shooting star press that crushes Ospreay. The impact reverberates through the arena, and the crowd goes wild as Fletcher hooks the leg for the pin. 1, 2, Omega dives in to break it up just in time, but the momentum has shifted. Takeshita, now fired up, squares off against Omega. They exchange blows like two titans clashing on the battlefield. Takeshita lands a hard forearm, but Omega responds with a snapdragon suplex, flipping Takeshita over like a ragdoll. The tension mounts as Ospreay and Omega work together, executing their double-team tactics perfectly. They hit Fletcher with their signature combination, Ospreay with the Oscutter followed by Omega's V-trigger. Fletcher is down, and the crowd gasps. But just when all seems lost, Takeshita rallies, pulling himself up and charging in to save his partner. He blindsides Omega with a wicked kick, sending him tumbling to the outside. With Omega momentarily out of the equation, Takeshita and Fletcher capitalize on Ospreay, who struggles to regain his footing. As the match nears its conclusion, both teams are exhausted, sweat pouring from their brows. The crowd is on their feet, shouting, "This is awesome!" at the top of their lungs. Ospreay tries to rally, hitting Fletcher with an enziguri, but Fletcher ducks and counters with a DDT that plants Ospreay headfirst into the canvas. With the clock winding down, the tension is palpable. Takeshita and Fletcher work seamlessly together, executing a series of rapid-fire moves that keep Ospreay off balance. Finally, Takeshita lifts Ospreay for a powerbomb, while Fletcher ascends the turnbuckle, preparing for the finishing touch. "Let's end this!" Fletcher yells, leaping off with a flying crossbody as Takeshita slams Ospreay down. The combo is devastating. The ring shakes as Ospreay crashes to the mat. Fletcher covers him. 1, 2, 3. The arena erupts into chaos as the referee calls for the bell. Takeshita and Fletcher stand victorious, their arms raised high, the crowd roaring approval. They've secured their shot at the tag team titles at Full Gear, and the thrill of their win electrifies the atmosphere. As they celebrate, Ospreay and Omega regroup outside the ring, their expressions a mix of frustration and respect. "You got lucky this time," Ospreay mutters, eyeing Fletcher and Takeshita, who bask in their victory. The tension between these four competitors lingers, setting the stage for an epic showdown at Full Gear. Tonight at the Suncorp Arena has been a roller coaster of athleticism, drama, and pure adrenaline, leaving fans buzzing as they file out, eager for what's next in this wild, unpredictable world of professional wrestling. AEW Revolution. The atmosphere is electric at AEW Revolution, where the air is thick with anticipation and excitement. Fans are buzzing, ready to witness a night filled with high-stakes action and jaw-dropping moments. Match 1, Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher versus the Outrunners for the tag team titles. The night kicks off with the highly anticipated tag team title match. Konosuke Takeshita, wearing his signature gear, and Kyle Fletcher, radiating confidence, step into the ring to face the Outrunners. These two are a throwback to the golden era of wrestling, with their iconic blonde hair and mustaches reminiscent of Hulk Hogan. The crowd can't help but cheer for the underdogs, who embody hard work and determination, ready to challenge anyone for the titles. The match starts with a frenetic pace, each team showcasing their unique styles. Takeshita delivers a series of brutal kicks, while Fletcher executes a picture-perfect dropkick that sends one of the Outrunners tumbling out of the ring. The duo works seamlessly together, their chemistry undeniable as they tag in and out, keeping the pressure on their opponents. As the match reaches its climax, Fletcher hits a devastating brainbuster on one of the Outrunners, and Takeshita follows up with a flying knee strike. The crowd erupts as they score the pinfall, winning the tag team titles. The feeling of triumph washes over them, but the celebration is cut short as Don Callis and his entourage storm the ring, their faces twisted in malicious glee. Callis grabs a microphone, his voice dripping with condescension. "You think you've won? Let's see how you feel about that mustache." He motions for his goons to bring out clippers, ready to humiliate the outrunners. Just as they prepare to shave off the mustaches, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay rush to the ring, their expressions fierce. "Not on our watch," Omega shouts, stepping between the outrunners and the clippers. Ospreay stands tall beside him, ready to fight back against Callis and his crew. The tension crackles in the air as the crowd rallies behind Omega and Ospreay, refusing to let the outrunners be humiliated. Match 2, Ricochet vs. Swerve Strickland. Next, the spotlight shifts to Ricochet and Swerve Strickland, two athletes known for their incredible agility and high-flying maneuvers. The crowd is on their feet as the two competitors collide in a match that promises to be a showcase of athletic prowess. Ricochet dazzles the audience with his breathtaking flips and spins, showcasing why he's known as the one and only. Strickland puts up a valiant fight, countering with a series of hard-hitting strikes and clever counters. However, Ricochet's determination shines through as he hits a jaw-dropping 630 splash, securing the win. The crowd erupts in applause, celebrating the high-flying hero's victory. Match 3. Konosuke Takeshita defends his Continental Championship against Hologram. Konosuke Takeshita prepares for his next challenge, defending the Continental Championship against the enigmatic Hologram. The bell rings, and the match begins with Hologram using his unique style to confuse Takeshita, darting around the ring with quick, unpredictable movements. But Takeshita is no slouch. He counters with his raw power, catching Hologram in midair and slamming him down with a thunderous blue thunderbomb. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Takeshita proves he's not just a champion, but a force to be reckoned with. After a hard-fought battle, he retains his title, raising it high for the world to see. Takeshita is now a double-duty champion, solidifying himself as a dominant presence in AEW. Match 4, Will Ospreay vs. Kenny Omega. The tension builds as Will Ospreay steps into the ring to face Kenny Omega. There's a palpable sense of history between these two, and the stakes are high. Omega, looking to redeem himself after being pinned by Kyle Fletcher at Grand Slam, is determined to prove he still has what it takes. Ospreay, ever the fighting champion, wants to give his friend a chance to shine again. The match unfolds in a spectacular display of athleticism and storytelling. They exchange brutal strikes, each man pushing the other to their limits. Omega hits Ospreay with a Snapdragon suplex, and Ospreay retaliates with a stunning Oscutter. The crowd roars with excitement, fully invested in the back-and-forth battle. The chemistry between Omega and Ospreay is palpable, a testament to their friendship and mutual respect. As the match reaches its climax, Omega attempts the one-winged angel, but Ospreay counters with a series of elbows, breaking free. Ospreay then ascends the turnbuckle, looking for a high-risk move. He leaps off for a shooting star press, but Omega rolls out of the way at the last second, causing Ospreay to crash into the mat. The crowd gasps, the tension reaching a fever pitch. Both men are down, breathing heavily, as the referee begins the count. They struggle to their feet, exchanging weary but determined glances. In a moment of camaraderie, they shake hands, acknowledging the respect they have for each other before launching into a final flurry of offense. In a breathtaking finish, Omega manages to hit the V-trigger, followed by a second attempt at the one-winged angel. This time, he nails it, and the crowd erupts as he covers Ospreay for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Omega wins, and the arena explodes in cheers, celebrating the return of the best bout machine. After the match, Ospreay, still recovering, grabs a microphone. "Kenny," he begins, his voice steady despite his exhaustion. "You showed everyone tonight that you're still at the top of your game, but I need to talk to someone else." He shifts his gaze to the Titantron, where Ricochet is watching backstage. "Ricochet!" Ospreay calls out, his tone shifting to something more confrontational. "A family that's all about backstabbing isn't a real family. You've been hiding behind Don Callis, and it's time for you to step into the ring with me. I'm challenging you at All In for the International Championship." The crowd buzzes with excitement as Ospreay continues. "If I win, I'm putting the Don Callis family on notice. They're done. Just like Vince McMahon's reign over the WWE. You think you're hot stuff because you can do flips? But let's face it, you've been avoiding me like the plague. You can't talk on the mic, and you look at Don like he's your father. You're just a little puppy, looking for attention and approval." The tension in the arena thickens as Ospreay's words hang in the air. "You put on great matches, but you haven't had a great match with someone who can challenge you. So let's do this with some honor, like we did almost 10 years ago in Japan. Are you ready to prove who's the better man?" The crowd erupts in cheers and chants of "Ospreay, Ospreay," as Will drops the mic, leaving the arena buzzing with anticipation for the showdown at All In. As the night draws to a close, Takeshita and Fletcher join Omega and Ospreay in the ring. They celebrate together, raising their titles high as the crowd chants their names. Despite the chaos and rivalries, there's a sense of unity among these talented athletes, reminding everyone of the passion and heart that drives professional wrestling. Meanwhile, Don Callis stands at the entrance ramp, seething with rage as he watches his plans unravel. The Outrunners, their facial hair intact, join the celebration in the ring, proving that hard work and heart can overcome any obstacle. As the camera pans out, the future of AEW looks bright, with new champions and fierce rivalries setting the stage for the year to come. The crowd leaves the arena buzzing, eager for what lies ahead, knowing that the best is yet to come in this unpredictable world of professional wrestling. AEW Dynasty, the arena is electric, buzzing with anticipation as fans chant and wave signs. Tonight, the main event promises to be a spectacle of destruction. Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita in an exploding barbed wire deathmatch. The stakes are high, with barbed wire and C4 rigged around the ring, creating a landscape of danger and impending doom. Match 1. Moxley versus Takeshita, exploding barbed wire deathmatch. As the bell rings, Moxley and Takeshita waste no time. Moxley lunges forward, and the two engage in a fierce exchange of strikes, the sound of fists hitting flesh echoing through the arena. The barbed wire ropes shimmer ominously, warning the wrestlers and the fans of the peril that lies ahead. Moxley, with a wild grin, grabs Takeshita and hurls him towards the ropes. Boom! The moment Takeshita's body makes contact, an explosion erupts, sending shockwaves through the crowd. He stumbles back, momentarily dazed, but quickly regains his composure, channeling the resilience he displayed at Forbidden Door 2024. The fight spills outside the ring, where barbed wire beds await. Moxley slams Takeshita into the unforgiving wire, tearing at his skin as he fights to gain the upper hand. The crowd gasps, half in horror, half in awe. Takeshita counters with a breathtaking blue thunderbomb, sending Moxley crashing into the barbed wire. Another explosion echoes ominously. As the match progresses, it's a brutal back and forth, each wrestler absorbing pain and dishing it back out tenfold. The 30-minute countdown looms and the tension mounts. Both men are battered and bloodied, the ring a canvas of carnage. With just seconds left on the clock, Moxley looks poised to deliver the final blow. He nails Takeshita with a paradigm shift, leaving him sprawled in the center of the ring, clearly unable to rise. Moxley stands over him, a grim look of triumph on his face while the countdown hits 10. Suddenly, Will Ospreay bursts onto the scene, racing down the ramp. He leaps into the ring, knowing that Takeshita's life hangs in the balance. With mere seconds to spare, Ospreay hoists Takeshita up and drags him out of the ring just as the timer hits 0. Boom! The entire ring explodes in a fiery display, sending debris flying. The crowd erupts in a mix of shock and cheers for Ospreay's timely rescue. Aftermath and betrayal. In the aftermath, Takeshita, still reeling from the match, is grateful but shaken. Ospreay, leaning against the ropes, gives him a nod of respect. However, this moment of camaraderie is short-lived. On the next television show, Takeshita, emboldened by the chaos of the deathmatch, betrays Ospreay. He challenges him to a match at the next pay-per-view, the Continental title on the line, claiming he needs to prove that he can stand on his own. Match 2. Ricochet versus Kyle Fletcher. Meanwhile, Ricochet faces off against Kyle Fletcher in a match that's building tension throughout the weeks. Ricochet, eager to showcase his dominance, has been methodically going through Ospreay's former opponents, and tonight is no exception. The match is fast-paced, filled with high-flying maneuvers and near falls, with both men looking to impress. In a moment of miscommunication, the referee gets distracted just as Fletcher seems to have Ricochet pinned for a 3 count. Fletcher's shoulders are down, but the referee is oblivious. Ricochet seizes the moment, rolls him up, and gets a legitimate 3 count. The crowd is torn, cheering for Ricochet's victory while recognizing Fletcher's strong performance. This moment builds Fletcher's credibility and sets the stage for his ascent as a new star. Match 3. Outrunners versus Hobbs and Beretta. Later in the night, the Outrunners face off against Powerhouse Hobbs and Trent Beretta. The stakes are high, as the winner will go on to challenge Takeshita and Fletcher at the upcoming Nothing pay-per-view. The match is filled with hard-hitting action, but things take a turn when Beretta gets caught cheating, leading to the Outrunners securing the win. As the Outrunners celebrate their hard-fought victory, the atmosphere shifts. The lights dim, and the eerie sound of the Don Callis family's theme echoes through the arena. Suddenly, the family storms the ring, attacking the Outrunners with a viciousness that sends the crowd into a frenzy. Powerhouse Hobbs and Trent Beretta, recovering from their loss, join in the assault, but it quickly becomes a numbers game. Just as the situation seems bleak, the arena erupts with the sound of familiar music. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and MJF charge down the ramp, a united front against the Don Callis family. They slide into the ring, fists flying as they drive the attackers back. The arena is filled with a cacophony of cheers, chants, and the sounds of bodies colliding. With the Don Callis family temporarily dispersed, Ospreay helps the Outrunners to their feet, the tension still palpable in the air. Kenny Omega grabs a microphone and addresses the crowd, igniting the atmosphere with his charisma. This isn't just about titles, it's about family. We're taking a stand against tyranny in this business. The crowd roars in agreement, the energy skyrocketing. But the moment is cut short when Don Callis appears on the big screen, smirking and flanked by his family. You think you can just run us out of here? You're mistaken. At Double or Nothing, we're bringing anarchy to the arena. He announces an Anarchy in the Arena match, pitting Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, MJF, and the Outrunners against Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricochet, and Trent Beretta. The stakes have never been higher, and the tension is palpable as the camera cuts back to the ring, where both sides stare each other down. setting the stage for an explosive showdown. As the weeks progress leading to Double or Nothing, the tension between the factions intensifies. Ospreay and Takeshida's rivalry reaches a boiling point, fueled by Takeshida's betrayal and his newfound aggression. Ospreay, feeling the weight of the betrayal, vows to teach Takeshita a lesson about loyalty and family. Meanwhile, Ricochet continues to assert his dominance, taking on various challengers and delivering high-flying spectacles that leave the crowd in awe. Kyle Fletcher, now a strong contender, finds himself at the center of attention, determined to prove himself against the established stars and make his mark on AEW. As the final show before Double or Nothing arrives, all the competitors are set to face off in a series of tag team matches, showcasing the brewing rivalries and alliances. The atmosphere is electric, the air thick with anticipation, as fans eagerly await what promises to be an unforgettable night of wrestling. In the main event of the evening, Ospreay and Omega team up with the Outrunners to face off against Takeshita, Fletcher, Hobbs, and Ricochet. The match is a chaotic affair, with each competitor showcasing their strengths and desire to win. The crowd is on its feet, the energy palpable as the wrestlers push their limits, each looking to gain momentum, heading into the high-stakes anarchy in the arena match. As the dust settles and the night comes to an end, the stage is set for an explosive Double or Nothing, where family ties, loyalty, and rivalry will be tested in the ring. The promise of explosions, betrayals, and high-octane wrestling looms large, and fans are left buzzing with excitement for what's to come. Double or Nothing 2025. The atmosphere inside the MGM Arena is electric, a thick fog of tension hanging over the crowd as they await the main event, the anarchy in the arena match. The stakes couldn't be higher. If the team of Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and the Outrunners win, they get to challenge Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita for the tag team titles at AEW All-In the massive Arlington Stadium. But if they lose, Ospreay can't challenge for the AEW Championship or any title ever again, and the Outrunners won't be able to renew their contracts, effectively ending their time in AEW. Tony Khan, looking like a kid in a candy store, announces the match with a gleam in his eye. And let's not forget, there's a Blood and Guts pay-per-view coming up too. Ospreay will face Takeshita for the Continental Championship if he wins this match. The crowd roars, a mix of excitement and dread. On the opposing side, the Don Callis family stands tall, a formidable lineup of powerhouse Hobbs, Takeshita, Fletcher, Brandon Cutler, and Ricochet. They look ready to wreak havoc, and you can practically feel the tension rising off their bodies as they size up Ospreay's team. As the bell rings, chaos erupts. Bodies fly everywhere, and Ospreay and Ricochet engage in a dizzying display of athleticism, both men executing shooting star presses and other mind-bending stunts that leave the crowd gasping. Powerhouse Hobbs, meanwhile, lifts two opponents at once, a grin plastered on his face as he hurls them into the barricade like they're nothing. The Outrunners, seasoned from their hardcore battles, turn the ring into a war zone, putting opponents through tables and setting some ablaze for good measure. Takeshita is a whirlwind, using his devastating blue thunderbomb to send one of the Outrunners crashing through a burning table, the flames licking at the air. Cutler, always looking for an edge, brandishes a screwdriver, but MJF is there to counter, tossing him out of the ring with a swift kick. The match escalates with ridiculous moments that feel like they belong in a South Park episode. Hobbs hurls a poker chip set piece at Ospreay, who ducks just in time, only to have Fletcher come flying in with a dropkick that sends Ospreay sprawling. The crowd is on their feet, chanting, "This is awesome," as the carnage unfolds. Don Callis, perched at the commentary table, is a mix of calm and chaos. He knows the stakes, and he's sweating bullets. As the match nears its climax, he mutters, "If Fletcher takes that Tiger Driver again, it's lights out." In a heart-stopping moment, Ospreay hits Fletcher with a Tiger Driver, but there's a catch. Fletcher is sent crashing through a burning table just moments later. Will Ospreay and MJF try to one-up each other by taking turns giving Kyle Fletcher a more and more vicious Tiger Driver. Callis leaps into action, microphone in hand. "Stop, we surrender," he yells, breathless. "Fletcher's a prodigy and I won't let him get hurt. He's too valuable." The crowd is stunned, half in disbelief, half in applause. Tony Khan takes to the stage again, announcing, "Coming this June, we have Blood and Guts, and it's not just a television special, it's a pay-per-view." The audience erupts, excitement palpable. The Dynamite episode after Double or Nothing, Don Callis gathers his family, a smirk on his face. "I knew we'd win those defenses," he says smugly. "They're all too good to lose." But there's a glimmer of doubt in his eyes, because he knows that in this business, anything can happen. Powerhouse Hobbs talks to Don Callis and says that he wants Don to not interfere again. No screwdrivers, and no calling the shots like you did for Kyle Fletcher. AEW Blood and Guts 2025, New York City. The camera pans over the sold-out crowd in Madison Square Garden, the buzz of excitement vibrating through the air like a live wire. The arena is decked out in the colors of violence, the flickering lights reflecting the chaotic energy of the match to come. There's a palpable tension, something wicked is about to unfold. Match 1, Ricochet versus MJF. The opening bell rings. Ricochet springs off the ropes, flipping through the air like a damn acrobat, while MJF leans against the turnbuckle, arms crossed, smirking at the crowd. They boo Ricochet, of course. Long Island is MJF's territory, and he's reveling in it. Ricochet's high-flying offense is on full display. dazzling Hurricane Rana's shooting star presses. He's a blur of motion, drawing gasps from the audience. But MJF, the cunning bastard, plays it smart. He ducks and dodges, using his brawling skills to counter Ricochet's aerial assault. A sudden elbow to Ricochet's jaw sends him crashing to the mat. MJF grins like a shark that just spotted blood. "Is that all you got, you high-flying loser?" MJF taunts as he works Ricochet over with a series of brutal strikes, the crowd roaring in approval. But Ricochet, relentless, rolls back to his feet, his agility shining through as he dodges a charging MJF and retaliates with a sharp kick to the gut, followed by a picture-perfect enzouidri. The match descends into chaos, with both men trading moves and insults like they're on a reality show. MJF hits a wicked piledriver, but Ricochet kicks out at 2. The crowd's electric, some chanting for MJF, others for the underdog Ricochet. Finally, in a flurry of speed and precision, Ricochet climbs the ropes and launches into a breathtaking 630-degree senton, crashing down onto MJF. The ref counts 1, 2, 3. Ricochet stands tall, adrenaline pulsing through his veins as he grabs a mic. "Will Ospreay, I'm ready for you at All In next month in Texas. Bring your wife and stepson. I want to show her what this all-elite playboy is about." "I'm a real champion." The crowd erupts, but before the cheers can die down, the camera cuts backstage. Backstage interviews. Ospreay and Takeshita. Will Ospreay is backstage, his expression serious as he addresses the camera. "Tony just told me there's going to be no outside interference in my match with Konosuke Takeshita. It's a last man standing match, and I'm ready to show everyone just how far I'm willing to go." The camera shifts to Konosuke Takeshita, who stands confidently, a shadow of a smile on his face. "Winning the Continental Championship has put me in the spotlight, and I've learned that to succeed in AEW, you need to be violent and ruthless. Ospreay thinks he can scare me? He's got another thing coming. I've bled for every inch I've gained here, and that's going to make all the difference tonight." With that, the arena darkens, the atmosphere thick with anticipation as the next match is set to begin. Match 2. Will Ospreay vs. Konosuke Takeshita, last man standing. The bell rings, and both men charge at each other like bulls. Ospreay delivers a flurry of strikes, but Takeshita slams him into the corner with a thunderous shoulder tackle. They fight through the crowd, smashing each other against barricades and tossing chairs. The violence escalates rapidly. Tables are set up, and the audience gasps as Takeshita hits the blue thunder bomb, sending Ospreay crashing through a table. The referee begins the count, but Ospreay barely makes it to his feet at 8. The pain is etched on his face, but the fire in his eyes burns brighter. Ospreay counters with a vicious tiger driver, leaving Takeshita gasping for breath. The match transforms into a brutal showcase of resilience, both men utilizing every weapon in their arsenal. Exploding C4 tables blast apart as Ospreay executes his signature moves, sending pieces of wood flying. After a grueling 20 minutes, Ospreay finally stands over Takeshita, who lies battered on the ground. The referee counts, and as the 10 count reaches its climax, Ospreay raises the Continental Championship high in victory. "Ricochet!" Ospreay calls out, his voice echoing throughout Ricochet. Ospreay calls out, his voice echoing throughout Madison Square Garden. The crowd buzzes with excitement, the tension thick as he clutches the Continental Championship tightly in one hand. At All In, it's title versus title. I'm the new Continental Champion, and I'm ready to show the world that I'm the real deal. He glares into the camera, the intensity radiating off him like heat from a furnace. "You think you can just waltz in and claim that international championship without facing the wrath of the Commonwealth King? You're in for a fight, buddy." The audience erupts, the roar of the crowd a mix of cheers and jeers. Ospreay's words hang in the air, a gauntlet thrown down as he walks up the ramp, the championship glinting under the arena lights. Backstage, tensions rise. The camera cuts backstage, where Moxley, Yuta, and Danielson are preparing for their upcoming bloodbath. Moxley paces like a caged animal, a wild look in his eyes. Tonight's not just about winning, it's about sending a message. We're here to take over, and I won't stop until everyone knows it. Blood, guts, and glory, that's the only way we play. Yuta nods, his expression fierce. "We're ready to prove ourselves, especially against those self-righteous pricks." "Danielson, what's your take?" Danielson crosses his arms, a steely gaze fixed ahead. "You can't underestimate them. Ospreay and Takeshita are ruthless, but we're more than just a faction. We're a family. We've got something to fight for, and tonight we show them what that means." All In, Arlington, Texas. Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. Winner takes all. The sold-out crowd at Life Field Arena buzzes with anticipation. The atmosphere is electric as fans wave their signs, each one shouting their support for either Ricochet or Will Ospreay. The massive venue, able to hold 50,000 fans, is a sea of colorful lights and excited faces, with the energy palpable. The stakes couldn't be higher. The International Championship and the Continental Championship hang in the balance, and the future of the Don Callis family is on the line. Pre-match announcements. Before the match begins, Tony Khan steps into the ring to a thunderous ovation. He raises a microphone and addresses the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to All In. Tonight, we have a historic match for you, a 60-minute Iron Man match between Ricochet and Will Ospreay. The winner not only takes home both championships, but also disbands the Don Callis family." The crowd erupts in cheers, and Khan continues. "I want to remind everyone that there will be no interference tonight. Don Callis and his family are watching from the back, and they will not be allowed to influence the outcome of this match. This is about pride, skill, and who truly deserves to hold these titles. As the crowd roars in approval, the stage is set for what promises to be a classic encounter. The bell rings, and immediately, the two men lock up in the center of the ring. Ospreay, with his speed and agility, quickly takes control, forcing Ricochet into the corner with a series of rapid-fire strikes. The first few minutes are a showcase of athletic prowess, with both competitors exchanging high-flying maneuvers and technical holds. Ospreay executes a beautiful standing shooting star press that garners a near fall, and the referee counts to 2. The crowd is on the edge of their seats, and Ospreay, sensing the moment, hits Ricochet with a crisp Oscar driver. He scores the first point of the match. The scoreboard flashes. Ospreay 1, Ricochet 0. The crowd erupts as Ospreay celebrates briefly, but he knows he can't let up. Ricochet, not one to be outdone, regroups and retaliates with a series of his own high-impact moves. He lands a stunning springboard Hurricane Rana, sending Ospreay crashing to the canvas. Ricochet follows it up with a standing moonsault, but Ospreay manages to kick out at 2, keeping the score steady. As the match progresses, Ricochet finds his rhythm. He scores his first point after catching Ospreay off guard with a surprise roll-up. The scoreboard now reads, Ospreay 1, Ricochet 1. The crowd explodes, and momentum seems to shift in Ricochet's favor. Both men trade blows and counters, each trying to outmaneuver the other. Ricochet executes a breathtaking superkick, sending Ospreay reeling. He follows with a picture-perfect 450 splash, but Ospreay just barely kicks out at the last moment. The tension in the arena is palpable as both competitors push their limits. With 30 minutes gone, both wrestlers show signs of fatigue, but neither is willing to back down. They engage in a series of rapid exchanges, each one more intense than the last. Ospreay finds himself in a precarious position as Ricochet locks in a brutal headlock, but he manages to break free and counters with a standing Spanish fly that stuns the crowd. Ospreay scores another point after hitting a vicious stormbreaker, with Ricochet barely kicking out before 3. The scoreboard now reads, Ospreay 2, Ricochet 1. Ospreay, refusing to relent, pushes for more, unleashing a flurry of strikes and high-flying maneuvers that leave the audience in awe. As the clock winds down, the tension escalates. With just 10 minutes remaining, both men are exhausted but determined. Ricochet rallies, hitting a series of rapid-fire kicks and a devastating reverse Hurricane Rana, gaining another pinfall. The scoreboard now shows Ospreay 2, Ricochet 2. The crowd erupts into a frenzy, sensing the urgency of the final moments. The final stretch, tensions rise. Now aware that time is running out, both wrestlers dig deep. They trade strikes in the center of the ring, the intensity palpable. Each punch and kick resonates with the crowd, who can feel the weight of the moment. Ospreay lands a hard forearm shot, but Ricochet responds with a spinning back fist that sends Ospreay staggering back. The audience roars, fully invested in this back-and-forth clash of titans. With just 5 minutes remaining, both men know that every second counts. Ricochet, fueled by adrenaline, attempts a quick flurry of moves, connecting with a breathtaking standing shooting star press. He goes for the pin, and the referee counts 1, 2. Ospreay kicks out just in time. The crowd gasps and Ricochet can feel the pressure mounting. The final minutes of the match become a whirlwind of action. Ospreay, refusing to be outdone, counters Ricochet's next move with a sudden hook kick, stunning him momentarily. In a flash, he ascends the top rope looking to capitalize on the situation. The crowd holds its breath as Ospreay launches himself into the air, executing a breathtaking Oscutter. He goes for the cover, 1, 2, and Ricochet kicks out again. With only 2 minutes left on the clock, the atmosphere is electric. The scoreboard reads Ospreay 2, Ricochet 2, and the tension rises to a fever pitch. Both men are visibly exhausted but refuse to give in. They exchange fierce strikes, and Ricochet manages to dodge a superkick, countering with a beautiful enziguri that sends Ospreay sprawling to the mat. Time ticks away, and the final moments feel like an eternity. Ricochet seizes the opportunity and prepares for his finisher, the Ricochet shooting star press. He climbs to the top, the crowd on their feet, but Ospreay recovers just in time. He springs to the top rope, engaging in a high-risk battle with Ricochet. The two exchange blows, both precariously balanced, and with a sudden burst of energy, Ospreay delivers a superkick that sends Ricochet crashing to the mat below. With just 30 seconds left, Ospreay quickly scales the ropes again, this time ready to execute his finisher. He leaps off, connecting with a stunning 630 splash. The impact reverberates through the arena as he hooks Ricochet's leg for the pin, 1, 2, and 3. The referee signals the count, and the crowd explodes as they realize what has just happened. As the final bell rings, the scoreboard flashes. Ospreay 3, Ricochet 2. Will Ospreay stands victorious, breathless but triumphant, the Continental Championship and the International Championship held high above his head. The arena erupts in a cacophony of cheers, fireworks exploding overhead as dazzling pyrotechnics light up the stage, celebrating the monumental victory. In the back, the Don Callis family watches in disbelief, their plans to stay united in tatters. Ospreay has fulfilled his promise, and with that victory, the Don Callis family must disband forever. The camera shifts to Tony Khan, who is smiling, clearly pleased with the outcome of one of the biggest matches in AEW history. As Ospreay stands in the center of the ring, he takes a moment to soak in the adulation of the crowd. The weight of his victory settles in, knowing he not only claimed the championships but also ended an era of chaos associated with the Don Callis family. He raises both belts high, the cheers of the fans echoing around the arena as he basks in the glory of his hard-fought win. Tonight, history was made at All In, and Will Ospreay has solidified his place as one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. Conclusion. In the end, the story of Ricochet and Will Ospreay transcends mere competition. It serves as a poignant narrative about family, loyalty, and the consequences of dysfunction. Ricochet's journey illustrates how he joined the Don Callis family, initially finding a sense of belonging and support as they all aimed to dominate the wrestling landscape. However, as time unfolded, the cracks in this family began to show. Their shared ambition was overshadowed by their moral failures, leading to a breakdown in unity. Ospreay, representing a strong moral compass, is ultimately rejected by a family that has come to value victory at any cost, showcasing the harsh reality that sometimes bad ethics can yield short-term success. This storyline is far more compelling than simply pitting Ricochet against Ospreay in a match on a standard episode of Dynamite, where the audience, potentially numbering only 3,000 to 7,000 in Pittsburgh, would miss out on the depth of their rivalry. Why rush to deliver a high-stakes match without the necessary build-up? The potential for a legendary encounter is there, waiting to be nurtured and explored over time. Instead of a quick television bout, why not take the opportunity to weave in various characters, develop intricate plots, and build a rich tapestry of storytelling that culminates in a monumental showdown at All In 2025. This is a tale of contrasts: the arrogant, cocky Ricochet, embraced by a morally ambiguous family that thrives on unethical practices, versus the principled Will Ospreay, who learns that sometimes to achieve justice, one must embrace a more ruthless approach. This dynamic not only highlights the conflict between privilege and hard work, but also questions the morality of success in professional wrestling. Ultimately, while bad hearts may achieve short-lived victories, the enduring triumph of a good heart prevails. Tony Khan has an opportunity to take this legendary rivalry and elevate it to unparalleled heights, creating a storyline that captivates fans and resonates deeply. This isn't just about a match. It's about crafting a narrative that makes every pay-per-view feel significant and memorable. To quote Vince McMahon, the true brilliance lies in knowing when to showcase legendary matches. Matches that, much like Hogan vs. Andre or Rock vs. Austin, deserve to be highlighted on the grandest of stages, not lost in the shuffle of a weekly show. The question looms: is AEW merely a vanity project, or is it a platform for creating legendary moments? By recognizing the importance of strategic storytelling and character development, Khan can ensure that these iconic matches are given the reverence they deserve, allowing fans to invest not just in the outcomes, but in the journey that leads to those outcomes. This is how you create a legendary legacy in professional wrestling, one that fans will flock to witness and remember for years to come.